I grew up in Indiana, Nazarene all my life, and I went to Olivet, and God got a hold of my heart, call to missions, and really met Jamie late in that process. As young as she can remember standing in front of the class saying, when I grow up, I'm going to be a missionary.
We went into church ministry to get experience there. We went to seminary. They sent us through like a semester of intensive training and testing. And so we ended up getting sent to Western Europe. We were working in Portugal, Spain, France, and Italy. So I was working specifically in theological education with young people who felt called into ministry. And then Kyle was at first doing that with youth, but then his role expanded to basically anything that the church needed done in those 4 countries, he was a part of it. People had kind of just become disillusioned with the church in general and felt like it was just another power structure that people used to climb the ladder. Those countries are Catholic, so those churches were fairly empty. Or the churches that were not Catholic were all immigrants. So helping them learn how to cross those borders socially so that they could share their faith, because in a way, even though they didn't feel like called to be a missionary there, they were missionaries there. They were bringing their faith to Europe. And so how do we cross any barriers that are needed so that we can share our faith with these people, because they don't know Jesus?
Because the paradigm shift in many parts of the world. Here we think about the church in a dominant culture reaching out to the poor, the oppressed, the marginalized. The church internationally, in many cases, are the poor, the oppressed, and the marginalized. And so it's kind of a different mentality shift when you think about what missionaries around the world are doing.
So we did end up, after 8 years on the mission field, back in the U.S. pastoring a church. And we knew when your kids graduate from high school, like you're no longer necessarily locked into a place. And we were driving through Bloomington and had another one of those conversations like, well, what if we lived in Bloomington and we worked with international students? That's something we've always thought about doing. And so our local church called and asked if I would come share on Wednesday night about something. So we showed up at church. I did my little 10-minute thing, and then this other guy stood up to talk about student ministry to international students. And while he was talking about it, we're like, this is what we're just talking about with each other. And then Kyle goes, and we looked at the side of the room, and he had this display up on a table, and it said International Student Ministries, Columbia, South Carolina, Bloomington, Indiana. And we went to him afterwards and said, why does that say Bloomington, Indiana? And he was like, well, it's the only other place that we have this in the whole United States. And so we just got in the car after that and looked at each other and were like, well, I'm pretty sure God just spoke to us.
Yeah, so it really starts in these days, beginning of the new school year, just helping international students adjust to life in a new country. So we're helping them acclimate to life in Bloomington, but then with the hopes that we can help engage them into a community of faith. There's all kinds of churches and nonprofit organizations that partner together in Bloomington. It's called BISM, Bloomington International Student Ministry. And we provide furniture, we provide rides, we provide American families. This Thanksgiving, our table will be full of international students who are experiencing their first Thanksgiving. And the hope is that they'll see Christ in us, and we'll have the opportunity to share some real good news with them. From the very earliest missionary efforts, the Apostle Paul was always about writing letters to communities, finding connection, and raising support, financial support from one community that had to another community that didn't. And so global reach is essential, has been essential for us. What we were able to do, the investment we were able to make in those young leaders, is only made possible because there's churches in Seymour, Indiana, in Walla Walla, Washington, and Kenosha, Wisconsin, and really around the world that are pooling resources and are able to go places that we and ourselves aren't able to go. And that's how global reach has been massive for us when we lived overseas, and continues to be even as we work locally and partner with the district and communities of faith like The Point.